your cowboy shit.
From the Brahma Boot Studio in Calgary, Alberta, my name is Ted Stoven. He is James Foley from the Calving Studio, just north of Lloydminster, Saskatchewan.
Welcome to the shit show, boys.
Welcome to the shit show. We are officially in shit show season. I had my first event of 22 weeks in a row of Western events, at least one wedding, and what else? Some chuck wagon races. Just some Western sports, but 22 weeks in a row. Started in Moose Jaw on the weekend, James, and sellout crowd. Piper, they didn't quite win it on them again, but Dakota made a nice ride on that bull. What was
Yeah,
it,
they
like
won on
88?
Boogie though.
Yeah, they won Boogie. Yeah. So Marshall Sanger, gotta give that kid a shout out for his first PBR win. Well done.
Marsh Nasty.
Yeah, Marsh Nasty with the Marsh Wind ski and Moose. What is it? Marsh Jaw? What were they
Marsh
calling
Jaw now.
it?
Officially, they're changing it to Marsh Jaw.
Oh, it was good. Good bull riding by
Great.
that guy.
Yeah, great kid. He's actually been like I've seen this kid for a long time showing up to
Yeah,
Vermilion practices, getting on my
good.
bulls.
Doesn't he make
Um,
shaps too, and does a good job making shaps too, doesn't he?
yeah, man, makes unreal leather work. Actually, belt I wear is made by him, so
Love it.
he's a good kid.
Love it. Love it.
Love to see it.
Um, what else do we got, James? We got Brandon coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, May 1st and 2nd, Brandon, Manitoba. I get to go check out the Brahma factory on Friday morning.
The
Where they
factory.
make the boots. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Gonna go see Graham and Garth and Donna and Chris and Jess and the whole gang at the Brahma, Canada West Shoe, out of
The
Winnipeg.
Brahma gang.
The Brahma gang flying there Thursday night, go over there Friday morning, and yeah, we got Brandon, and then we got we got Brooks, Corey Larson Memorial PBR featuring Chancey Williams, gonna be May 8th. James, it's also my birthday too, just so you know. I don't think you're going to that one
Gonna
though. You're
be?
gonna be in
No, I'm
Kamloops, aren't
not.
you?
I'm not going to that one.
Okay, well you can send me. You can just say happy birthday from afar. I guess it's fine.
I'll text you.
Okay. You know what I want to put as a shout out on the show today?
What?
Don't fucking text me for my birthday. Call me. Call me on the phone.
Okay.
I
Okay, I'll
might be
call you.
busy. Anyone thinking they want to text me? No. I want to hear from you on the phone. Call me.
I'm gonna call you, and if you don't answer, I'm gonna leave like
Dirty
just
message.
oh
Just a
like but
long.
like 30 minutes, just absolutely eat up all your storage,
You're just
and it's
gonna
just gonna
leave your phone on and just set it down and just go about your day and just leave me a 30-minute voicemail.
no, I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna give you like a 15-minute talking.
I I read something about that today where it's like people like we don't have to talk like it went from like it was a crazy stat in like 1994 there was like humans spoke aloud 16,000 words a day, and now it's down to like 9,000 because nobody talks anymore because you can order your food on an app. You don't have to talk to people. You can just stay at home and work by yourself. There's
Order
not
your
as much
groceries.
dialogue. Yeah, like you don't have to talk to people as much, right? You send text messages, emails, where all that stuff used to be phone calls and in-person meetings, and now it's just like it's so impersonal that people and the specific part of it was that people have to be aware and present, and we have 200 milliseconds to react in a face-to-face conversation, whereas that doesn't exist with text messages and whatever else emails. But in a face-to-face conversation, people don't have the eye contact anymore. Ordering coffee at Starbucks now, you can send your order and just go pick it up. You don't got to talk to anybody. Like some of that is kind of efficient, but the human side of it,
No,
though,
it's not. It's turning kids into losers.
well, that
It's
too, they can't fucking
If
talk to
if
anybody.
you're under the age of 18, you're listening to this shit right now,
Pick up the phone and fucking call people.
fucking talk to people.
it's why
Dude,
line
what the
dancing is
hell? You
popular
guys are
now.
a bunch of losers right now. You guys can't even wheel at bars. I've never seen a
Ugh.
bunch of kids just standing with each other. You guys can't even pick up chicks.
Well, speaking of which, it's why line dancing's so freaking popular now because the boys can't go ask a girl to dance.
Oh,
Yeah, and if
all the
you're on
girls have to
TikTok
line
and you put
dance.
yourself line dancing, you're also a bigger loser than the kid that can't wheel a chick.
Oh, oh dear. Well, we he was our guest on episode 80 of Cowboy Shit, Mr. Foley, and he's back
He's
again.
back.
We have a special request. He's if you see him flying your plane, don't worry, he's not hijacking it. He is a commercial pilot. He's legit. You don't have to. What is it? You don't got to squawk 7.5 because he's not trying to steal the plane. He's not hijacking.
Trying to drive.
Please welcome back to the show, Tarek Olnaga.
Howdy, sir. How you doing?
We had a special request and a idea that came about with Tarek. So, and I gotta go back. Quickly. I'm sorry, Tarek, but the Coy Larson Memorial PBR May 8th in Brooks, Alberta, at the Brooks Centennial Arena. Chancey Williams is coming up for that one, and gonna be a great PBR show. We got all the stops, all the measures. Brett Gardner on the microphone. We've got, I think, Denny Halstead's back once again, but Chancey Williams is feature after the bull riding. It's a great event, and it hasn't had as much support from the community as far as fans it could have in the last couple of years. So I want to see everybody anywhere close to Brooks. Come check out that event on Friday, May 8th, and I will have a beer with you after. It may or may not be my birthday, so hope to see you there.
You're signing autographs after?
This is a personal request to come please join my birthday party at the Coy Larson Memorial PBR in Brooks on Friday, May 8th. And I will talk to you in person. I will answer your phone if I'm not in the middle of the perf. Or maybe I'll answer it during the perf. Like, whatever. I'll just be like, hey, sorry, I'm playing music, but thanks. I know that you took out your time of your day to call me, so thank you. I love you for calling, and we'll talk soon.
Perfect.
That's what we'll do. Cool?
But
I won't answer during the production meeting. I'm not going to do it then. No phones in the production meeting.
That makes sense.
Your phone goes off, it's a case of beer.
And if you're in Brooks, man, you're missing out on these PBRs. Like, dude, we got a great set of guys getting on bulls.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got a pen of bulls right now. Like, these PBRs are unreal watching right now.
I don't want to make too crazy of a claim here, but there's a rodeo in Brooks, I think about a month later. And I would guess, I'll just throw a wager out there, that you're probably going to see more successful bull rides for higher scores at the PBR than you will at the rodeo later in the year.
Yeah, and the production, and these productions it's a party. Just go there, get drunk, take your shirt off. There was guys in Moose Jaw with their shirts on.
Yeah, we found the rowdies.
Just whipping their shirts around their heads.
We found the rowdies.
Yeah.
How about that one lady that was dancing too?
Yeah, well, how about her?
I think Ash was pretty distracted the rest of the show after that lady was doing her dancing thing
there. Cooked them.
It was pretty entertaining. Okay. Brooks, PBR, Friday, May 8th. Got Brandon this coming up weekend. And yeah, man, we got stuff happening. The next few weeks going to be good traveling. Great show this week. But we got some very important business to attend to. Tarek has joined the show this week. And we have... man, I don't know how to approach this because I wrote this out when we first started the podcast, and I wrote the description of the show, and I said it's rated from steer rider to steer wrestler, and it's rated from steer rider to bulldogger, and then I said it may offend some team ropers, and I'm about to probably offend some team ropers here. It might happen. So direct all your comments to foleybuckingbulls@gmail.com.
Yes, and I will take them all, and I'll reply back to every email I get.
And you can CC hello@cowboyshit.ca as well for any complaints. But what we have to do is we have to find Tarek a team roping partner for the 2026 season and possibly beyond.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Could be a real friendship.
A friendship. And it's not gay, okay? We're not trying to gay on you here. Like, this isn't like it's not that way.
It is the only rodeo event where you need a partner. So
yeah, no offense to the gays, but this is not a gay situation.
Yeah, this is a straight situation. I mean, if you are gay and you want to be Tarek's team partner, that's cool too. Like, hey, that's fine. That's cool. No judging. What we're saying though is we need to find Tarek a team roping partner for the 2026 season. So Tarek, I think what we got to do here is, once again, emails directed to foleybuckingbulls@gmail.com if you want to be Tarek's team roping partner. Hello, cowboyshit.ca. Tarek, you can send out your burner phone number for your team roping header phone number, like hotline. I don't know if it is. Yeah, 1-888 team roping header, like HEADR. Like, I don't know, however you want to do it. I don't know what the number is.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
But I'd go 188 hot rope.
Oh, No,
Somebody needs to register that number now.
Yeah, HOTROP, hot rope.
Hot rope. That could be a
guaranteed.
That might already be a gay hotline.
Yeah,
I was gonna say get head as another one too.
It works. You need 7 letters.
It does.
It might work. Yeah.
Yep. I like that.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm sorry about this to all our team member friends. Just for the record, bulldogging would be a lot different without a partner, without a hazer.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the record. If we're trying to judge the level of it, like that's close second.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, easily.
But now I just dug such a deep hole. I'm sorry to my steer wrestling friends and my team wrestling friends. We're just joking on you, okay? We're just joking. But Terry,
the CPRA is a steer wrestler now.
Oh, did Chance win it?
It's official.
He's the president.
Yes,
Congrats, Chance.
Yeah.
I think he's been on the show before. We had him on. I think he was like 53 when we talked about the top bulldoggers ever from Canada. That was a cool show.
It's official
now. Tarek, sell us on why.
First of all, what are you looking for? A top or a bottom? That was a good one. That if you're not laughing to that shit, that was fucking funny. That was a good one.
You know it's good when even the team rubber laughs at it, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I've heard them all, man.
Okay, are we looking for a header or a healer?
We're looking for a header. So at the tender age of my, say, middle 40s now, this year Tarek is going to be calf roping and team roping, and starting off like this is my first ever season calf roping. But look into.
I believe it's called tie down roping, actually.
Fine, if you want to
get gay names.
If you want to get technical. But I get it. It's a tough rodeo season. Diesel's at $2, and you can thank my people for that. And
I like your sign in the back though.
You're welcome. And speaking of like straights and gays, like straight of Hormuz, gays of Hormuz, you pick. But one of them's closed. Anyways, so we're looking for a header. And in the pro season, so I've got a guy for the Emmys. You can have a permit or a full card. And I live in the Airdrie area. So if you live around here, even better, because it's good for practice. But don't matter. We don't have to travel together. That could be a little too close. I am happy traveling too. And yeah, I just want to get after it, man. Like I'm living my dreams. Ted, I told you this. Like I get to rodeo, I get to fly airplanes, I play music for a major sports team. I'm living my dreams every single day. So it's been an inspiration. If you're coming up from the amateurs and want to make a go of it at some of the pros, and you don't have to chase a CFR crack, let's do that too. I'd rather be in the arena than not. That's kind of always my mentality is, I'd rather be in the arena. And don't worry about, I mean, everybody wants to catch, but truly it's my roping mentor, Murray McGonigal, who Teddy, kind of told me this. He's like, less than 1% of people in the stands are ever going to know what it's like to be in the arena. And I think that's a heck of a privilege. So if you want to experience that, the pros are a lot more fun. They're very well run, and they're intense. And you're up against the best guys in the world. So that's the only way you get to improve. So yeah, if you want to come up or have been in the pros and want to come back, my tunes are always good. I always got the best tunes in the truck. And yeah, ready to get after it. I know it's a tough season. I think there's only currently 48 registered teams in Canada. So it's not a deep competitive pool at the pro circuit. And I suspect as the season goes, it'll get tighter and tighter as well.
So why should the headers of the world, the partnerless headers, why should they pick Tarek?
Good question. A lot of try. Great horse this year. Show up on time. The beers are only after the rodeo, so not before. And
not even to take the edge off, like you did with the shakes?
That's what whiskey's for.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that's what whiskey's for. But and I would say that here's another big advantage. I might not be the best healer in the world, but super connected from a sponsorship, social media exposure standpoint. That if you're looking at, I've got an amazing set of partners I'm working with this year with some pretty cool technology, really groundbreaking in the sports equipment world that I would love to introduce you to. So, and we could be a sponsored pair team too as well.
Well, I like it. Well, if we get multiple people that are signing up here, I think we do a bachelor style.
Heck yeah.
Who will be Tarek's header style podcast next, James? What do you think?
Heck yeah, we can cover it through the season. I'll keep you all posted.
What's the goal for the year? Like, is the goal to win? Goal to just show up? Goal to?
No, you definitely go into rodeos wanting to win. You want to place, you want to make money. I think a goal for this year, if it's someone that's coming up from the permit world, fill your permit, lock yourself in the standings, and get ready for a proper 27 run.
Oh yeah,
get those qualifications up.
Yep.
It will be the first time that we'll have a. Well, I mean, I don't know this. Tell me that this is wrong. Are there any female headers in the CPRA? Is that a thing?
I've always wondered that. In the World Series, there's a ton. And in
Yeah.
amateurs, there's a lot of mixed and or just female teams. I've personally never seen it, and
Not yet in the pros.
I don't know if that's a thing or not. I mean, there's a ton
Man.
of breakaway ropers that team rope too.
I wonder if there's if the breakaway card allows you to team rope too. I don't know that on the rules. There's a lot of ladies that are around now though, and there's probably plenty of breakaway ropers that could compete on the heading side. I think they were onto something here. I wonder if the breakaway ropers are allowed to enter the team roping.
I don't know what the rule book says, but yeah, it's definitely. I mean, the World Series see it a ton in the AMECC you see it for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other thing as well. Here's the one thing that I don't do. I don't jackpot. I love team roping, but I don't love it enough to watch 600 team roping runs in an afternoon. So
I think that's allowable.
So yeah, we
But
definitely.
what if your partner wanted to do that kind of shit?
Well, if they wanted to get to a couple of if they're good at going down the road for rodeos, we'll do a couple of jackpots.
Good.
But I don't want a season of just jackpots. Like that's really important. Yeah, it's really hard to sit through 600 team rope and runs.
I tried it one time, hated it, never went back.
Yeah. I mean,
but if you got a guy that you can win money, is it on the table or no?
And I get it, and that's the thing is you're absolutely right. Is yes, the payouts are bigger in jackpots for sure, but you're also up against, depending on where you're numbered, you're up against 500 teams at some of the big jackpots. Whereas at a rodeo, like all of these mid-sized rodeos that have just happened, Med Hat, Tabor, etc., you're up against 40 teams. And they're still paying 6 holes. So your chances maybe are not as big of a check, but the competitive field is a lot tighter.
Oh yeah.
And you're not waiting as long. Plus, I'll always say this, and you guys are both rodeo fans, is I'm as much a rodeo fan as I am a contestant. And competing at a rodeo, there's so much else to do in terms of just being a fan of the sport and the spectacle of the sport. Whereas at team roping, it just loses all the fanfare. You don't have a grand entry. You don't have national anthem. You don't have a production. It is just. I mean, again, great horses, great ropers, and for some guys, the jackpot world works well. If you're not looking to cover a ton of miles, you got family, kids, whatever, that's fair. Because the rodeo world it's a long ways to go for 10 seconds worth of work at best. But that being said, I'm a fan of rodeo too, so I get to watch rodeos that I compete in, which has always been fun.
And the only reason why I asked that question is like I feel like team ropers are like the guys who want a team rope are like big jackpotters and you know what I mean? Like I feel it's like one of them things like team ropers especially fucking love team roping. Like the guys that are going to be the guys that are winning are the guys to me that are like showing up every time at all these fucking deals to win money. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like the big. That's what fucking team ropers do. They just like everybody's like going to the world,
You
going
do,
to
but
going to South Point.
again, one of my roping mentors just mentioned his name. He won't jack point. Like he is a rodeo guy through and through, raised on the rodeo world,
Right.
and I think it also changes like depending on who you're traveling with. If you're traveling with a bear racer or bronc rider or whatever, like it changes. Um, but but I think now again, not knocking on jackpots, but I'm chasing a rodeo dream. Now
Oh
there are
yeah,
guys who go both very successfully. Like you'll see Levi Simpson's name very successfully at both. There's futurity guys like Jeremy Bueller, who's made an incredible living, probably better than rodeo in the futurity world, especially as he's got a young family now. So it's less miles for him to cover for significantly bigger payouts. Um, so it really all depends. Like, I mean, was one better than the other? No, but do I have a preference? Yes.
right.
Um, and I think it's got to be somebody that wants to chase that rodeo dream.
Dig it.
Do we have anything else, or should we just direct all traffic? Tarek, do you want to tell everybody where to find you?
Heck yeah. Wherever, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, I go by my
Reach
name.
out to us.
Yes, you guys. It's I'm really wanting to get into Red Deer. So memberships close pretty quick here for Red Deer. If you don't already have a membership, if you do, then entries give us a little bit of leeway. I'm pretty excited about Red Deer getting their rodeo back for
Mm-hmm.
what first time in a decade-ish. You
Well,
guys
since
better know.
CFR, probably technically, right?
No, but like when was the last time they had the silver buckle?
Oh, like the 90s? Or
Okay,
no,
there you
that's a lie. I think like early 2000s. It's been
So
quite a
it's
while though.
standalone rodeo, but it will be CFR format. So that'd be a pile of fun. And it's permit approved, which surprised me for a pro tour rodeo, but you
They'll
know.
probably have slack, but still,
Yeah, exactly.
still out of
Don't
pro
know.
rodeo.
You never know. Like on my first permit year, I thought I'd get slack across the board. Um, call it computer luck. I don't know. I got slack 3 times out of
Not
probably
bad.
20 rodeos.
Not
Uh,
bad.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got a ton of perfs, which the pressure is real. Like when you get perf at a Strathmore, at a High River, kind of one of those like bigger sized rodeos where they pack them to the rafters. It's a completely different vibe than a jackpot. And some guys
What
and their horses hate it. I love it. I feed off of it. Like give me a crowd on a Saturday night and I'm all in.
what I think the big what's your time? What's your healing time?
Ooh, fastest.
Because that's probably a big one, isn't it? Like that'd be like what would you compare a team roper's time with? Uh,
Yeah,
trying
high
to find.
score, on a bull ride, whatever it is. Fastest run I've ever had is a 4.7. That's just straight up fastest. Um, the world records are 3.3, so we're not there yet. Um, but again, that's okay.
So you're
Uh,
like sub six.
ultimately, you want to be sub six. I mean, what was it? One of the pros recently. The last hole that got paid was an 11.6. Either Rimby or Medhat. Now, I think definitely somebody slipped a leg on that one, but that was the last hole that paid. So sometimes it pays to be clean and
Yeah,
consistent rather than, and then if you look at them guys that make the CFR, a lot of them aren't winning the rodeos, but they're placing at every rodeo. And if you're consistent in placing, I think that's a lot better percentage than just going for the straight win. If you go for a straight win, that's also good, but you're also risking it. Clean catches at this point, clean, good technical catches, having fun going down the road, and then everything else is a bonus. Man, I'm lucky. I'm living my dreams.
You got anything else, James? Should we
send them an email.
send
Send
him
them
an
an
email?
email.
Reach
Do
out to
it.
Tarek if you want to rope with him this summer. We're
Heck
trying to
yeah.
find Tarek a header. So
I appreciate that, Teddy.
one
Thank
eight
you.
eight eight
Thanks, Foley.
get head. You can find him on the on the line
Uh-oh.
www.ineedheader.com, something like that, right? I need something like that.
And I'll be calf roping too, so I need someone to push my calf.
Yeah, might be the team roping partner. Might
Yeah,
not.
there you go.
TBD.
There you go. There you
Might
go.
be Brian. Might be Brian Neal. He will probably help out.
Brian's got the barrier. Brian's always got the
Oh,
barrier.
he's not a calf pusher, is he? Yeah.
No, he loves the barrier, man, and that's okay.
That's fair. Okay,
Everybody needs
Brian's on
barrier.
it. Brian's on it. James, you got anything else? Tarek, anything else?
Well, sir, you guys keep rocking and rolling. Have a great show. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks for jumping on, Tarek.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother. We wish you the best for
See you,
your
man.
journeys.
Thank you. Cheers.
Finding a partner
Thank you.
to team rope with.
See ya.
James, once again, I'm in the Brown Boot studio, and I'm headed to Bramaland on Thursday. Gonna be a sweet trip, and I had a really good chat with the next guest, Spencer Streichert. We had a really good visit about a multitude of subjects. Got really heavy. There's some funny stuff. I made some inappropriate jokes, so it's just the run-of-the-mill regular show.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, man.
Good tuning.
What you got Camrose next? May 9th?
I don't know. I don't know
You're not going
where I am
Camrose?
next. Actually, I don't even know if
No?
I have anywhere to go. In I was on the Brandon list, but I don't think I am anymore.
It's pretty far to go.
Yeah,
what
you
it
know
is.
what? And the past 6 days, dude.
You're
Just shout
burnt.
out to our
Burnt.
ranch, women and men. Holy shit, do we have time here the last 5 days?
I that weather has been a motherfucker. And even like Dakota Butter like had his bull riding or steer riding school on the weekend.
Yeah,
And he was calving in a snowstorm and he went to Moose Jaw. And I don't know where he was going, but he had this fucking calf in the back of his truck. Took a huge piss in the back seat of the truck while he was driving down the road. Because otherwise these cattle are gonna die. Like you guys are fucking saving lives out there. So
I had to take a calf to the vet today. It shit in my truck 3 times.
oh no. Oh
Yeah, my
no.
bottle calf.
And they don't sit like these cat like they're not in the fucking they're not in the box. You can't leave them in the box. Like they're in the cab with you.
No. Yeah.
And truck's getting dirty.
I told that son of a bitch to put a seatbelt on like 6 times. Shit's 3. Yeah, crazy, man. It was like yeah, I can't even explain it, man. It's probably the worst storm that we had.
All winter.
Yeah, winter in probably 20 years in April. Like
oh my gosh.
it was a banger, dude. Like
Ugh.
I like people calving. It was hard to explain. I sat there probably 300 times and said, "What the hell?" I didn't say that, but I said, "What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing?"
What are you gonna name the one that shit in your truck? What's that one's name gonna be?
I don't know yet. He's a posty son. Comment on the video. Give us your names. We'll pick one.
The first thing that comes to mind is Post Pounder.
Oh, I like that one actually.
It's actually not a bad name for a bull, is it?
Yeah, his mom. What was his mom? His mom was Kung Fu Panda daughter.
Oh, there was a funny one back in the day. It was like Who Flung Dung.
That's a good one.
It was something like that. That could work.
I got a Kung Fu Panda son that's named Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean? That's pretty good.
Yeah, you get the reference?
No, I don't know.
Karate Kid? Isn't it? No, Three Ninjas? Three Ninjas, the smallest one's Jelly Bean.
Oh. I like
Always
that.
thinking, sir. Always thinking.
I like that. Oh dear. Okay, I better go. Thanks for doing this.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're still listening, appreciate you bearing with us through this. We laughed. It was funny. Just ranching, man.
We had just ranching.
Just ranching.
People will relate to that shit because everybody was like, fuck that storm.
Right. And they'll relate to the team roping jokes because we all think it, but nobody says it very much. Yeah. And then, but like it's funny.
You dicked with the steer wrestlers, and I'm staying away from that because them boys could throw. Every single one of them fuckers could throw, and they're massive.
That was probably a bad idea. That part, wasn't it?
Yeah,
might have to cut that out.
Yeah, you're gonna be walking head down at every rodeo you go to this summer.
Oh, that was funny though. That's funny.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gold until you turn around and Scotty Gunther and Cody Cassidy and the boys are all behind you.
That's funny.
Hey, but I mean, like, twerp.
Yeah,
it's good though. We had fun.
I was joking. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Catch you next time. This week on the show, he's a multidisciplinary artist working in comedy, radio, and acting for film and theater. He's a former rough stock competitor who qualified for the Canadian Cowboys Association finals in 2011. He grew up ranching in southwest Saskatchewan. He's a Canadian Comedy Award nominee who has oh, he has two albums under his belt. He's open for Jim Jeffries, Jason Ellis, Amos Gill, and can be seen in season 5 of FX's Fargo. His latest special that came out in November. It's called Cowboy Number 2. It's now out on YouTube, and he can be heard weekly around Alberta, co-hosting On the Rise on the CKUA radio network. Coming to us from Calgary, Alberta. Please welcome Spencer Streichert.
How's it going, Ted? Thank you so much for having me on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this. I'm not a radio guy, but I feel like my radio DJ voice is really picking up this week with my raspy tone.
Yeah, you've got that smooth late night drive sort of voice, you know? You got the voice where like you could play some smooth stuff that people will be driving around to as they're making late night deliveries or
Yeah.
or driving away from a breakup, you know?
Yeah, or like driving away from a break-in too could
Oh,
be.
also that. We could kick it up a notch.
Yeah, it depends what people are up to. The late night radio DJ voice.
Man, the late night radio DJ voice, the stripper DJ voice, they're very similar, but it's that smoothness that comes in.
Oh man, I don't mean to be like this. I didn't choose this life right now. It chose me.
Listen, the late night DJ voice, it just comes at you. It's like that movie It Follows. It's the voice. It comes at you.
Oh
And all
dear.
of a sudden you have the voice, dude.
Oh dear. I didn't mean to. Spencer, tell me what you're up to, man. I don't know when we met or how far the things go back, but yeah, tell us what you're up to.
Man, I actually I know when we met because it was the 2011 CCA finals, I believe.
Oh, really?
It was either 2011 or 2012.
Probably
Uh
12.
it might have been 12 because it was right when you started everything Cowboy.
Was that the year Wasey won the finals was 12?
No, he won in 14, I believe.
Oh, that was a couple years after.
Yeah, 12 was 12. I forget who won the finals. I mean, that was a long time ago. But I remember it because you had already been to the CFR and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're creating this specific Western sports media outlet. And I just remember everybody at the time was like, that's really cool. Like this is something that's just going to benefit the sport. So it's been really cool getting to see that you've been doing it now for 10 plus years. It's what, like 15 years now of everything Cowboy? That's crazy.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
That's nuts. Yeah, but in terms of what I'm up to, man, I'm doing a ton of stand up. I'm just yeah, doing the whole CKUA radio thing. I've been kind of just getting a lot of stuff ready right now. I feel like I had a big year last year with the special coming out, and it was a lot of anticipation building up to that. But I feel like this year it's been a lot of building the new hour of material and a lot of just, I don't know, kind of going back to the basics and just, taking things one step at a time. I think with comedy and like with any art form, really, it's like when you have something that you've worked really hard on for a long time and it finally is complete, you kind of have this moment of almost loss where you're kind of figuring out like what do I do next? Because you always want to go for that next thing, and it's hard to do so, but you kind of have to remember to break it back down to the basics and like where you were at 10 years ago. You kind of just have to look at it from through those eyes again, through that lens, and go, what do I need to focus on to get that new hour built? So it's just been a lot of stand up lately.
And I remember going, oh, I saw you host and I think what do you call it? Like host and present or what do you call it when you're part of the
It,
stand up hour?
hosting and like emceeing, yeah, yeah.
Well, what's the other part when you're one of the comedians? You just have a
Uh,
spot? What do you
yeah,
call that?
it would just be like I guess having a spot. I think would
Having a
be
spot?
yeah.
So I saw some of your work at the Monday Comedy Night. I went there with Mel a few times, and we haven't been in a long time. But I didn't even know that existed. But it's like a little bar called what Modern Love on like 11th Ave
Yeah,
in
and
Calgary.
And you know what the saddest part is? Now it doesn't exist anymore. That was
Really?
actually, yeah, the night that you were there, that was the second to last show.
Really?
And James Moore, the guy who's been running it, he ran it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it used to be Broken City. Like
Yeah.
Modern Love used to be Broken City. And it was just like, I honestly think it was the coolest venue. Like it was the best venue to go check out music or comedy because there was
And it was
not
on
a
Monday nights. Like it
it was
was
on Monday nights too.
yeah.
Like it
And there were some
was
good folks that were there.
oh yeah,
I've
like
laughed my ass off multiple times.
the craziest part about that is that that show had some A-lister comics just drop in. Like at the peak of his popularity, Hannibal Buress just dropped in the night after selling out, like I think it was McEwen Hall. He just came in and dropped in and did 45 minutes at the end of the show. And
No
like
way.
Zach Galifianakis was there. Like there's been like
What?
yeah, there's been some huge names that went through there.
No shit.
Uh and James kind of actually he built the comedy scene in Calgary. So he had originally Calgary used to have just Yuck Yucks, which was at originally the Blackfoot Inn, which is now where the Laugh Shop is, and they were super picky about like who was going on stage and whatnot. And James kind of got into comedy when he was older. He was in his 40s, and they flat out told him that he was too old to be a stand-up comic, which is insane because stand-up comedy, I think, is the one art form that you get so much better with age. Like you have such a better perspective of the world and everything. You have so much more life experience. But yeah, so he couldn't get stage time, nor could a lot of other comics. So he started it originally at Dickens. It was there for 3 years. Then I went to the Lord Nelson for another, I think it was like year and a half or something. And then it spent the rest of its time at Broken City slash Modern Love. But what ended up happening is Broken City got purchased by this company in Edmonton, who was this restaurant company there, and they kind of turned the venue like it used to be like not a bad seat in the house sort of a thing. And then they put this giant island bar in the middle of the room, and it was noticeably different when it came to Modern Love compared to Broken City. So at a certain point, James just decided he was going to do his 20 years, call it 20 years, and say have a good day, which is still insane. 20 years for an open mic is a long time. Like most of them last, if you're lucky, 3 years. So yeah, he birthed Calgary comedy.
No way. Well, so I saw him give like the main guy some cash the one time. I was watching the deals go on. I don't know if you got paid to like to host.
Oh yeah, no, and it's funny because he would do the same thing where he would just walk up and like he'd have his the cash in his hand and he would hand it to you and go, "There you go, young fella." And he just like it had this smooth sort of. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he also used to. I'm pretty sure he sold weed at one point, so I think
he
that
had
it's
to
just
have.
that like
Had to
that
have.
drug dealer handshake just it sticks with you.
Yeah, and just cash and it goes right in the palm with the handshake.
Yeah,
Classic
and
move.
you just trust that it's all there because you're like, no,
You're not
nobody's
questioning
doing.
it.
No one's questioning it
It's
because
a drug
anybody
deal.
who
You don't count your money in front of the person.
it would be so rude if you did. It like
Um, I will say that I saw something funny, a funny interaction, and I kind of felt bad for you at the time, but I was like, ah, it's probably shit how shit happens. But I saw James actually lecturing you on how to host. He's like, yeah, you just gotta go up there and get the next person on. Like, it's enough. Like, you're not the fucking comic here. Just get to the next person. I was like,
oh
oh,
yeah.
Spencer just got fucking told.
Listen, I've gotten many a talkings
Got
to from
scolded.
that man, and those scoldings are the most terrifying thing that you would ever hear. Because like he is the nicest guy, but when you're starting in comedy, especially, like it's intimidating. Because he just like he taught everybody how to be a professional comic. He was like, this is the way that a show works. Host goes up, does time off the top. You have to have time in case somebody bombs, but you got to keep the show moving, right? And for the new comics, you'd get off stage and he'd give you notes. And I remember one of the first notes that he gave me, he pulls me into the back. This is when it was still Broken City, and he goes, "Are you a rapper, young fella?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Then why the hell are you holding the microphone like this? You're choking the sound out of it." And I was like, "Okay." And from that point on, I was very cautious about how I held the microphone. But
Yeah, you can't hold the mic like this, bro.
no,
You're
you
not.
can't.
It messes up the sound.
Also, it doesn't look as cool when you're telling fart jokes and you're holding a microphone like this as when you're slinging
Look
some
like you're trying to
rhymes.
sniff a fart.
Yeah, exactly. Which, Ted, you've seen my jokes. I am most of the time trying to sniff farts.
You're not supposed to admit to that. Uh, what was I gonna say? There was and like pre-show, like it's obviously going well as a comic when one of your earbuds is missing the the thingamajig on it.
The little rubber piece. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
things are
that's how you
going
know it's
well
going super good.
in the Streichert household here. I'm pretty sure that as I was mentioning before, I think my cat might have ate it. So
Yeah,
that
hopefully it
rubber
shit it
earpiece
back
is
out.
gone. It probably will. It probably will. I
Oh,
think
it's a
like
recent problem.
oh yeah, no, this is
Okay.
this is like within the last probably 48 hours.
Oh, it's very fresh.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be generous with that and say 48 hours.
Okay. Okay. Uh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just laughing. I
Oh,
had nothing to say there. Sorry.
what about the special and how much work goes into that to go and actually get enough material? Because so just for example, like so, folks, I don't know shit about comedy. I'm not going to tell you that I know anything about comedy, but I got to give kudos to yourself and Cowboy Cole for going and trying to do stand up. And like sometimes stand up doesn't fucking make sense to anybody. Like what people are doing up there, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, slow clap at the end. Like yeah, that was something, but maybe he's working on something. Maybe he missed part of it. Like I don't know. Um, but the process of stand up and creating those jokes and having enough content, like I'll be honest with the podcast here, like you and I can have this conversation and do this interview portion, and I can do that functionally, I think. But I'm not a person like a Flint Rasmussen that can go and I almost wore a Flint shirt today, but I didn't know wear my own. Sorry, Flint. But he can put a whole show together on his own. So like he's the closest thing to a stand-up comedian and probably, could be called a stand-up comedian in his line of work in the arena. Um, but there's so much content and so much confidence and I don't even know what else to say to be on that stage and do that. So I can't imagine the process of building that out.
It takes a long time. It's definitely something that takes time and it's not something that ever I think gets easier. You just kind of find what works for you. Because like Flint's actually a great example because I was listening to him on a podcast recently where he was talking about building up his act, like his act for clowning and how he was kind of doing what stand-ups do in terms of his turnover of material. And I think that is way more terrifying because I can if I have like a whatever set in, stand up, most of the time you're on a show with other folks, so like people are getting something out of it regardless. I couldn't imagine though like having a clown act and having to write a new clown act and then hoping like that's gonna work out because at least with stand up I can go up and I can try out jokes at open mics or at clubs doing guest spots or opening for people and I can have that experience that slowly I can work on the material and mold it and find what actually works. With clowning, the fact that you're just going out there and like you've had no test audience, it's like this is your hour and a half of material that is going to be put in between, certain events. And hey, hope that your rating was good. Hope that your jokes land. That seems more scary to me, honestly, than stand up for that reason. But when it comes to like the special, like I had recorded two albums pretty early on in my stand up career. And they were both just like 20-minute albums that, were the jokes that I was the most happy with at the time. And so I had the experience of what building like a fully finished product was and in terms of like having a strong beginning, middle, and end to a set. And then with the special, it kind of happened organically because at that point my first two I had like 2 years in between the starting of the writing process and the recording. And I wouldn't recommend that for most folks. I wouldn't even recommend that for me. I was just young and jumped on it and said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But I had so much time before my special. Like I had, I think, 6 years of working on this material. So by the time that I recorded it, it was polished. Like I was very happy with the jokes, almost too happy. Like I was sick of some of my jokes. I'll be completely honest. Get to a point where you're like, how many times can I say this and get a laugh? Like this this joke sucks now. Uh, but uh, but it took a while. It took yeah, like about 6 years of writing. The actual recording process was pretty simple because I had reached out to Ranchman's about recording it there because I thought what an iconic venue. And now that it's moving, I'm even more glad that I did it because oh man, it's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be the same now that Ranchman's isn't gonna be at the McLeod Trail location. But it was really cool to get to be in that space to record it.
And I'm thinking about like the major comedians like Jim Gaffigan with his Hot Pocket story, and I'm trying to think of who else has stuff that's like consistently similar. I'm trying to think back now, but like I want to say a guy like Dave Chappelle is in an elite level because it's changing. It's not the same shit all the time.
Yeah,
No offense to Gaffigan or like I'm trying to I don't know the comedy scene enough, but there's some guys that have their shtick that's their thing forever. But a Chappelle, like he's different every time, I want to say.
I would agree, and I would throw in Dave
He's a s
Attell into that mix. Like
Yeah.
there's those guys who are able to like keep evolving with the art form, and I think that that's something that's super necessary, especially with comedy, because it is not something that's going to be evergreen. Like your jokes that you told a week ago might not be relevant, this week, and so there is that need to stay fresh, but there's that extra level of needing to constantly evolve. And I think that yeah, there's those guys who are able to do that, and then there's also those guys like you said who like they found their shtick and it works. The
Yeah.
Machine, great example of that.
Yeah, Bert.
Like
Yeah.
Bert Kreischer,
And
like
I heard him do it at the comedy festival last fall or last summer in Calgary, and it was fucking funny.
yeah, and it's and
It's
it's
like, oh,
it's
this is a good fucking story.
It's a great story. And you're like, there's those bits that are just so quintessentially like evergreen in a way, but
Mhm.
they're they're
But he
they're
also
always
had a
the
lot.
personal one.
He always had a lot of funny shit too. Otherwise, though,
Oh yeah. You
yeah.
gotta still fluff it out with everything else. You gotta have the full package for the hour.
But it's also extremely good storytelling. If we're
And
being honest, like his that machine story is a story,
oh yeah.
and he tells it really fucking good. He's almost like I don't know if you ever listened to the show we did with Ryan Petrucki. We call him Gator about getting kidnapped in Istanbul, Turkey. Like that's
Yeah.
like that could be a comedy special of its own.
Oh, 100%. And but those are the things like I something that I've noticed with stand up because like you've seen my act, I do a lot of storytelling. Like a lot of my stuff is very personal stuff.
Like,
Uh
yeah,
but I was gonna say like what I think is funny is the stuff that works the best is the stuff that you're like this seems absurd, like this doesn't seem real, and a lot of the times your realist stories you have to simplify them and like because the audience won't believe it. Like there's times where like you tell a joke and you're telling this story and it's something that actually happened to you and the audience is like there's no freaking way that that happened. Like they're invested in it, but they're like, I don't believe that
he's
that could
making this
happen.
shit up.
He's making that shit up. It's like it took me a long time to figure out how to talk about like my ranching and rodeo roots on stage because it is kind of a hard sell because most of the time when people look at someone like me, they're like, oh yeah, probably not. Like there is that little bit of like disbelief, and so you have to find a way to like simplify it and get the information out there without ruining the story, which is a fine line to walk. Especially though, like I said with the rodeo stuff, it took me a while to figure out how to say it on stage and not either sound like you know the guy that's reliving his glory days because that's you also don't want to be that guy on stage. You don't want to be the guy that's like, oh no, man, we made state back when I was in grade 12. Like no one wants to be that dude. Uh, but you also have to be honest about what happened to you, you know? So it's a fine line and it is a really tight rope to walk at times.
Do you want to give us an example, or do we got to watch the special for that?
No, I could give an example. Like I talk about like right off the bat in my special, getting my head stepped on by a bull when I was 15. And like that that's an insane story because that sentence right away, people are like, I'm hooked. Like, where is this gonna go? And then so then you kind of start adding details once you've got people hooked on it, right? So like the way that I would maybe tell a story to you or like anybody that I'm hanging out with in person is going to be different than how I tell it on stage. It's not going to be super different, but the delivery of it is going to be a little bit different because I want to hit you with that thing that's going to get your attention right away. Because if I've got your attention, I've got you for the punchline. You know,
Huh.
if I've got you for the setup, I'm gonna have you for the punchline. So
Interesting.
it's about getting it as quick as possible. It's as much information as you can get as possible, as quick as possible.
So give me run me through it. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like where a comedian is like, yeah. So this one time, I shit my pants, um, when I was hung up to a bull or something. Like there's like a what did you just say? And then, okay, now I'm listening.
Yeah, I feel like well, I can go back to the bull riding one there. Like, yeah, I started with the I got my head stepped on by a bull, and my next line is I'm like, if you don't know much about bull riding, just know this: if the bull is riding you, you're doing it wrong. And like,
Yes.
that gets people a little bit more interested because they're like, oh, he's crapping
Now he
on
made a
himself a
sexual.
little.
Now he made a sexual joke,
Yeah.
and yeah,
and then it's
interesting.
and then it's also like having making sure that like I don't know, this is a personal thing, but I always like to make myself kind of the butt of the joke when it comes to my stand up. Like even if I'm talking about something that is not myself, if I'm making an observation about something, I still want to bring it back to me because I feel like those are the jokes that land the hardest because then people are more willing, if you're willing to laugh at yourself, people are more willing to laugh with you about whatever,
Hmm.
so it's almost like Jedi mind tricks in a way when
Interesting.
you're up there.
So how do you get to how do you land the plane with the bull riding story?
I talk about then I talk about being theater handsome. I talk about how like getting my head stepped on by a bull made me theater handsome. And I give some examples with that where I'm like like if you were at the back of the room and I'm dimly lit and you squint, you might look at me like, I could fuck him, right? And
Is
then
that Brad Pitt? Oh no,
is
it's
that
not.
Brad Pitt? No, that's Spencer Armpit. But then you get closer. And the next part of the joke is I'm like, yeah, like if if you're in the front row though, not so much because to
Yeah.
y'all I look like Steve Buscemi's tooth double, and so then
Oh.
it I go through I go through a few of those. Uh,
Kind of like the onion when you get up close, it makes your eyes water a little bit.
Yeah, oh, that's a good line. That's actually a great line. I'm not gonna lie. You should you should use that line because I'm a little jealous. I didn't think of that. That's a fucking good one.
Oh boy. Or you could use scepter head.
Scepter head.
Yeah, everything's pretty good, scepter head.
That's a good one. That's I haven't heard that one before.
Really? It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Oh, that is a golden line. That is a really golden line.
We might need to write
Um,
together sometime.
I feel like we do. I feel like Ted, we got to pull you onto stage. We got to get you
Yeah.
into doing
Oh
stand up.
no. No, fuck. I don't think I would do good at that.
I think
Although I think it'd be really good for my public speaking and confidence and probably eye contact because even right now like I don't look at the screen very much. I'm looking around my kitchen and I'm like, oh, just thinking, but I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta focus on what I'm doing here.
I have the exact same problem. It's
Shifty
not
eyes.
it's not so much the like fear of not being able to focus on what the subject at hand is. It's more so I just have anxiety about eye contact in a lot of ways. I don't know why. I don't know. I've talked to my therapist about it. I can't figure it out. I think that it's some sort of anxiety. But I've actively been focusing on not doing that for so long now that it's become a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as like I'm gonna actually give you as an example here.
Do it.
When we were at the Morgan Kleiber show a couple
On
of weeks
Monday.
ago,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not looking at you. I'm looking around the room.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and as soon as you were doing it, then I started doing it again, and
Yeah. I'm
I was
sorry.
like,
It's just
damn it,
something I do sometimes.
I was like, gosh dang, I was doing so good at making eye contact with this guy on my football team who was there, and like his
Yeah.
dad who I just met, and then I'm like, oh, I actually know Ted. This is gonna be so much easier. I'll just flow into this conversation, and
Yeah.
then, oh man, both
I'm
of us
shifty as
were
fuck.
we
I'm
were
sorry.
staring at the ceiling. I mean, I started reading the bottles on the shelf there at
On
the Eddie.
the shampoo bottles, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't mean to do that, but I don't know if it's a room situational thing where I'm like always looking around, like watching my back on like what's going on, or maybe that's why I always sit in the corner so I can see everything and I can be focused. But yeah,
I feel
my
you. I
bad.
do the exact same thing.
My bad. Okay, back to let's get the train back on the tracks here.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh okay, I've got a few things. We got how much more time we got? We got lots of time. Uh Man, there's so many ways we can go here. I want to say that like the rodeo comedy side of things and stand up, it's like very parallel worlds. Almost like I was at the Alberta Country Music Awards the other day, and Morgan, I got to present the award that Morgan won.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, they asked me to present an award like before I went up there, and then sure enough, she like just got back from a trip, like just made it in time to get this award. But yeah, I got to hand her award. It was pretty neat to go and be a presenter up there. But they're very the rodeo world like that in Alberta and Western Canada. Uh, in the music world are very to me they feel very parallel with a lot of the musicians performing at the rodeos, and it's like some of the rodeos are turning into like full on festivals now where like Panoka probably has like 50 or 60 acts that week between the dance hall and the saloon and the main stage, and there's a lot of friggin' music going on there and live music, which is uh, huge for them to support the Canadian music industry. Um, Dwight Yoakam's already sold out for the first night on like a Thursday, which is
Whoa.
super cool, right? And like that means they're gonna have like 10, 15,000 people at that damn thing on a Thursday night. So
That is crazy.
anyways, but I see like stand up comedy and rodeo entertaining as being a very similar role. And it's starting to I had this idea probably like or this thought like probably 10 years ago that a stand up comedian would fill in very well as a rodeo or Western sports entertainer as the, you know, Ricky Tikki Chucks retire and as, Denny Halstead's got as many more years as he wants in him as long as he can get his baggies on. I think he'll be rodeo clowning. Um, and love Denny, right? But Denny's on this on the side of um the act is what the act is for the most part, right? Like he's got a few different pieces, and but it's like it's less on the it's less of the situational side of things. It's more like what he knows works
Right.
on his side of things, right? Where a comedian now, like I see that maybe someday being the role where they're kind of a hype guy slash comedian. They have the content, but I don't know. It just seems a little parallel to me, Spencer.
I completely agree, and I think that we're seeing that a little bit with folks like you mentioned earlier, like Cowboy Cole. Like he's I think a great example of this, where um he's doing so much of like the hype man thing, and he's also just so naturally funny that he can kind of just be on the microphone and throw in some lines as the announcer's going and given all of that information, and he can throw in those lines, but he can also get the crowd excited and get everybody amped up. I think that there is kind of a parallel between the like rodeo world in general and I would say stand up and music, because I think like both stand up and music, they're kind of they're kind of like brother and sister, in terms of like the way that the two worlds operate. And I think that there's a lot of parallels between that and rodeo though, because you know when when you're doing stand up or you're doing a music show or something, you're not the only one that's on that stage. You know, like yes, you're the only one that's on there when you're going, but there's a whole group of people that are making it happen, right? And everybody wants to see each other do well because it means that the show is good, right? And I feel like you get that same camaraderie with rodeo where it's like you want to see all of your buddies do well even when you're competing against them, because you want it to be a good competition. I feel like that's kind of the same with comedy where it's like you want to see everybody do well because it means it's a good show. And so there is that like slight competitiveness that naturally I think comes with any sort of human interaction and sort of environment where there is definitely room to grow. But I think that in terms of overall, everyone wants to see each other do well. And it's funny too, because you also see it with stand up that one thing that I noticed as soon as I started stand up that I related to with rodeo was I was like, oh, there's like four of us getting into this vehicle to drive, for 6 combined hours to do 10 minutes of shit and then go back. Like
Oh
that's
shit. Is that like you guys going to Edmonton or back to do a show for a night or something?
yeah, and especially like when you're starting, like you kind of you go to open mics even in other cities with
Oh.
comics because like you're just trying to get as much stage time and as much experience. But then as soon as you're like actually out there doing paid gigs, it's the same thing. It's like you and maybe one other opener. You're driving to all the way up to Cold Lake and then, doing your show, staying the night, driving back the next day. Uh, so the traveling aspect was very similar. And much like with rodeo, it feels like every single town that you would go to, you were kind of a rock star because you're like the entertainment that is there for the year, right? Like that's a big event for the community. It's a huge fundraiser or whatever it is that they're doing with said rodeo. And it's very similar with stand up. Like you come into a small town somewhere and you might be the only, live entertainment that's coming through for 6 months. So people are invested in it. They're like, oh, this is going to be fun. So I think it's funny because a lot of people don't like doing small town shows, like a lot of stand-up comics, and I fucking love them because for me it feels like I grew up in that environment, so I know the sensibilities of rural folks, but it's also like it's fun because you get to make people's night in a way, and you get to make people's day. You get to go out there and do something that it, people, hopefully think is looks easy. Like you hope that it looks easy to them when you do it, and then they get to have this experience that that like I said that might be the only thing they get to do for 6 months, and they've got a babysitter at home, and they've put all this work in to like go out that night. I think that's a cool parallel that I see a lot between rodeo and stand up and I would say music as well.
How how bad has it gone sometimes on the stage? Like when you're starting, what's the
Oof.
worst shit that's gone down?
I have this one story that like it wasn't even that like necessarily things needed to go badly. I was opening for my friend Dale Ward on New Year's Eve and we went all the way up to Cold Lake and I was supposed to do 30 minutes off the top, then he was going to go up and do 45 and I went up and it was a packed room, but there was three very large tables and each table was talking, but they were never talking all at the same time. It would be like this table is all talking to each other and so it's just like it's super distracting, right? Like with stand up you need everyone to be paying attention. And this is I would say the worst I've probably bombed. I at
When
one
was
point
this?
this was 2022, New Year's 2022. So this was
Okay.
like 4 years ago. I was still like 6 years into stand up. You know, like I had the experience to get myself out of this situation, and I have to throw it on myself. I fucked up because I said to the crowd at one point,
You called him out. You can't call him out.
you can't call him out. You can't call him out in the way that I did either, where I went, I politely asked, excuse me, do you guys mind being quiet so that I can finish my jokes? And then everyone was quiet. And I hit my punchline and I got nothing. And after
Oh,
asking
no.
everyone to be quiet, I was just like, this fucking sucks. Like, and I was also
And this was
only
early on. This
this
was
was
not.
this was
It's
like
still
8 minutes into my set.
Oh,
8 minutes
gosh.
into my set. So I'm like,
Oh, gosh.
I still had to be up there for another 22 minutes minimum. And
Oh, gosh. And they did
I
not
just
stay quiet, did they?
they did not. At as
They're
soon as
like,
I hit
"Fuck
that
this guy.
punchline and got
Fuck this guy."
nothing, they
Oh,
were like,
no.
fuck this guy. And I
Oh,
just had to
no.
eat my shit and just keep fucking like I just had to go robot mode
Did
because
they
at a certain
laugh at all or no?
no, after that there was one table of four people who were very polite and they were and so like at about the halfway point of my set, I just started doing my jokes to them and I was like, I don't even care that the rest of the room hates me. I'm just gonna make these four people laugh,
Oh,
which is
jeez.
kind of worse because then you're still hearing all these people talking like throughout the room.
Oh, no.
So that was a rough one. I would also say
Did your buddy do better? Like, did he have a better go or?
oh, he had a way better go because a
Okay.
lot of the people who were really drunk and rowdy left by the time that he got up on stage.
Oh, no.
So then like he went up and had a great set. Like he absolutely destroyed and it was tough. That one sucked. I think like it sucks more when you're the only one that bombs on a show because like if everyone bombs, you're kind of like okay, like
Shitty room.
you never want to blame the crowd, but like
Sometimes they suck.
sometimes it's just a shit room, you know, it's just a
Respectfully.
shit deal. But yeah, no, that one was tough. I had one on my special that I talked about that I kind of bring up at the end because I had right before the special, I was refining material and I went to the lab shop one night just to drop in and do a guest spot. And I was doing this joke. It's the closer on my special, and it's about my own mental health, right? And I talked about it in like again, like I'm not getting up there on stage and saying, haha, isn't suicide funny, guys? I'm talking about my own experiences. And I get to a point in the joke where I make a joke about how uh my mom got into falconry, and I'm like, yeah, she spent $10,000 on a bird, but in 1994, if she had spent $10 on some contraception, I wouldn't have depression, you know? And that's the line that I said. Gets a huge pop most of the time, and the laugh shop is packed, and this lady yells out right when I get to that part. I bring it back on myself again, and I was like, "Look, I know some of you might be uncomfortable with that." And this lady yells out, "Yeah, because you're not funny." And the whole crowd was just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, jeez.
Because like also I was killing it at this point too. Like the vibes were high, and so I went, okay, well objectively you're wrong, but like let's go down this avenue. What part of this did you not like? And she yelled out that her brother had killed himself recently,
Oh, fuck.
and I don't know how you come back from that one. Like that, I have to say, like I absolutely have no idea because not only had I never experienced that in at that point 10 years of stand up, but also I on like a human level, I didn't want to just tear into this lady. I mean, I do in my special when I retell the story, but it's like that's different, you know? Like I'm making fun of that situation then, but like she she said that and I took a minute. Like I took a pause before I said anything because I didn't want to be taking it
You
out
were
of
shook.
context. I was
Yeah.
shook. And also
You don't
this is
offend this lady. Her brother just committed suicide.
exactly. And then
Ugh,
on top of that, it's like it's not one of those things where because the joke had done so well for so long because I had been, you know, again, it's a very personal story. I'm talking about my own mental health struggles and I'm able to make that funny, which I think in turn is able to open up the conversation and lead to more people being able to discuss it openly. And so I said that on stage. I was like, "Look, I'm not making fun of your brother. I'm not I think that that's really sad. I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm talking about myself and I'm talking about this from my perspective and I'm doing this because at the end of the day, if more people are talking about it, there's going to be less people that are going to act on it like your brother did, like I have tried, like, and I'm trying to like, level with this lady. And then somebody that was just fucking hammered in the front row yells out, "And you're a comedian." And I was like,
What
"Yeah."
did they say? Oh,
He
and
said,
you're a
"And
comedian.
you're a comedian." And I went, "Yeah, and I'm a comedian, and you're not. So can you please shut the fuck up?" And like then it gets a huge laugh. I finished the joke. It was a weird energy though. Like
Oh boy.
I
Split
was
room.
able to bring it back, but like it was tough. And then afterwards, like it just that one interaction fucked with me because like I had done that joke at shows that were for like like mental health awareness, and I had done that joke in LA at like the Ice House and in Halifax and like across the country. Never once had I had a negative interaction with this joke. It was just the
Hmm.
timing of that was way too like, she, in all fairness, not to blame her, but she probably shouldn't have been at a comedy show if she was going through like, grief that heavy, right? Not
Well,
that
or doesn't need to speak up. You don't. I don't have to say something if I'm there too. Like it's
absolutely.
not my intention to fuck over a comic's day too. Like, what did she think about that? Like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but like, what's your point here?
Yeah. And I
Like,
feel
do you want
like
us to feel sorry for you? Like, or is this a reach out for help? Or like, I can't imagine. But like, just to destroy someone's set in the middle of a show, like, what was her expectation there?
and not only destroy someone's set, but like
Not
everyone that
funny.
had
Like,
been
ugh,
laughing before that, like
went
the
quiet.
yeah, and then it's like you just made 300 people feel uncomfortable. Like
Yeah,
that was what you got
that
out of that.
sucks.
So that one was a tough one. I would say though, not a bomb still because I was able to like pull it
Recover.
together.
Amazing you could recover from that one. Holy.
Yeah, that was a hard one to recover from.
Sorry, did you have more to that story?
No, that was the end of it. Sorry about
Okay, that's
that.
okay. It was an abrupt finish. Uh, Spencer, what? How much time do you have right now? Hold on.
Oh, I got like 30 minutes. I'm good.
You threw a little piece in there that we don't have to talk about, but you mentioned the suicide kind of or side of things, and it sounded like you have attempted before, or something along the lines. Like it sounded pretty heavy.
Yeah, I definitely threw that in very casually, so I apologize for that. That wasn't the way that I meant to bring that up, but
I
it
wasn't. I wasn't calling you out on it. I just.
oh no, I just mean I appreciate you bringing it up, but yeah, I have, and I've really struggled with my mental health like since high school. Like I've had uh, a lot of issues with my mental health since high school, and it's one of those things that has ebbed and flowed. I've had like really, really, really good stretches of time where I haven't had, to deal with my depression, and I haven't had to focus on it, and I haven't had to even think about it. And then it'll come out like it just is there suddenly, which is another reason why I like talking about it because I feel like if you talk about it, your friends and family are able to pick up on signs when you might be going down that road, right? Or when you're in that pit, even not even going down that road fully. Um, so it's been something that I've been actively working on since I would say I was probably 19 or 20. Um, and yeah, I mean it's a little, I mean, not in a ha-ha way, but it is a little funny because I ended my special talking about how I had dealt with my mental health issues, and I have this, you know, culminating punchline of building up to everything, right? And it really ends on a positive note, but uh, a year after shooting it, I actually this would have been last May, and this is the first time that I'm talking about it publicly. I tried to end it in a hotel room, and it was one of the toughest things because building up to when it happened, I was starting to spiral. I had been off my meds for a while. I was starting to spiral, and I was starting to reject a lot of the things that people wanted to help me out with, you know? I felt like at the time, like nobody was listening, which is not true. That's not the case at all. But it's really hard when you're in those spaces to like in those mental spaces to maybe realize that. Um, I luckily it didn't happen, right? Luckily, I mean, I hate to use the term because I don't think that it's a failure, but I hate to say that you know, I'm glad that I failed at my attempt.
This was less than a year ago.
This was less than a year ago, yeah. Um, and I'm really also grateful that I have a really strong support system of friends and family that have been able to help me over the past almost year now. Um,
You got my
because
phone number now too, man.
yeah, and I definitely will reach out to you, man. Like I appreciate you saying that, and I know that everybody says that, and I think that that's something that when you're going through it, though, you don't really think about how, you know, like you find excuses, I think, for why people wouldn't want to talk to you, you know?
Any time of the day. You got to call twice to get past my do not disturb, though.
That's fair.
If I'm sleeping, just so you know.
That is totally fair. But no, I was really lucky because I was in a play with a group of folks that I had worked with before. It was rehearsing in Medicine Hat, and it was just kind of like the culmination of months of not being on my meds, not talking to people about it, and then the rehearsal schedule. It was just like I had been going through this loop for years of being in shows and never taking that time to like work on my shit outside of, you know, away from the arts world, you know. And I feel like you definitely kind of need that when you're working through your own mental health issues. But I was really lucky because my parents live really close to Medicine Hat, and the company that I was working for was all people who were genuinely my friends. So I had, yeah, tried to end it. Luckily, my wife had phoned me. She got a hold of somebody else that was in the show. They came up to my room. It was a whole thing. Like my friend Mitchell Saddleback hung out with me basically for a couple of hours and made sure that I was good. And then, yeah, my parents came and picked me up in Medicine Hat the next day. And I ended up going and spending quite a bit of time out in Saskatchewan with them. And then got with my therapist that I'm with now, got back on my medication, and really started to actually work on the shit that is at the root of a lot of my problems, you know, which it takes a while, I think, sometimes to find a therapist who you're comfortable with. And I think that's another thing when we're talking about mental health, I think that we need to open up that discussion of like, you know, give give every therapist a chance, but not every therapist is for you, you know. And I've had quite a few over the years where it's you have to find that comfortability to be able to actually discuss your issues, you know. And I think that a lot of times I know my biggest cope is my biggest superpower, you know, like with comedy. It's like I'm able to take anything that is bad that's happening to me and I can make it funny and I can make a joke out of it, right? And one thing that I really appreciate about the therapist that I have now is she's able to acknowledge the joke and laugh at it and then move on with, okay, but let's talk about this, you know. And because I feel like that's what's able to help me get comfortable with actually talking about stuff is to be able to get through the joking part of it because it kind of breaks the ice, and then you're like, all right, here's the real shit, you know. Um, but yeah, to be where I'm at now, like almost a year later, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a lot safer in my own mind, in my own space, in my relationships with other folks, you know, friends, family, everything. It's like they're as horrific as it is to be in the mind space to want to end it. It has been really nice to see how many people care, and to have that knowledge, and then to be able to actually, like, when people are like saying, like you said, like, reach out, and then you actually do reach out and people are like there, and and before I maybe didn't realize that. But the thing that really fucked me up about that whole experience, and um it was the thing that kind of like snapped me out of it the night of, for a couple of years now I've been teaching acting classes for kids at Storybook Theater. And there's a lot of kids that really look up to me. And my wife said on the phone, she was like, how do you think it would have been for any of those kids if they had found out? And it was like, man, just hearing that like really struck a nerve, because I realized, I was like, that would have fucked me up. That would have fucked me up really bad if I was that kid, and I don't want to put that on a kid, and then I look back on like all of, the friends that we have lost to suicide, and at the various times in my life when those events happened, that did affect me for a long time, like even, to talk about like Ty, I only met him a couple of times, but the impact that he had on me those couple of times that I met him, it made that interaction, or that experience so much worse, because and then I, think about that, and I'm like, okay, if I felt that about Ty, who I only met a handful of times, how the hell is the kid that's been in my class every Sunday for 2 years, how are they gonna feel? And so it's like, it's not to put the onus on anybody else for why you should still be here, but it's to compartmentalize it and go, oh, I can't do that to someone else. Like, I really can't do that to someone else, and that means that I need to work on the steps and make sure that I'm in the right place.
When you say you're not on your meds, is this um I don't know what the diagnosis is, but it sounds like it's maybe a bipolar something, or I don't know, but for some folks that are that way, they think they're good after a while, and they stop taking their meds, and then things start going backwards again once they run out. I don't know what the story
Yeah.
is on your side, but
No, for my side, it's not bipolar. I just have uh depression and anxiety, and
yeah.
I'm not sure, like, I've been with a therapist for a year now. I've been talking to my doctors and everything. It's just the antidepressants. I got off them, and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
and just, I, again, it was like you said, you start to feel good, you start to feel normal.
Yeah,
You're
you're
like,
like, I don't need these now.
I don't need this anymore. And then those invasive thoughts start creeping in, and it's really hard to get those out of your head once, because it, there's something that's really fucked up about the human brain, where for some reason the worst thought is the thing that we think is the most real. When we're thinking about what, our own judgments of ourselves. And so it's difficult then when you're going through it, because you're like, well, yeah, but this person, they must hate me or something, or, like, it, not again, not to put it on anyone else. It's like, it's maybe a bad example, but you just start to think in that cyclical way, and it's really hard to get out of that cyclical cycle once you start going down it. Um, but yeah, so it was just the antidepressants though, which is the, you know, now I know I gotta stay on them. I gotta keep up my shit.
That's part of to my understanding of it. Some of us don't create the same chemicals in our brains, and we're missing those chemicals, and the drugs replace them and help us stay even.
Yeah. And I think that based on my own experience, I feel like that is very much the box that I check.
Hmm.
It's yeah. Okay, because again, like, I mean, I went, years without antidepressants, but it was a struggle. And when I finally got on them, I remember very vividly, like within 2 weeks, once that was in my system, and I started to notice, like, if I had the negative thought, it would appear, but then it would just be like a fleeting thought. It would just go away. You're like, no, I can push that shit to the side. Um, but yeah, then as soon as I was off them, nope, those thoughts were front and center. They were like
They
a
spiral.
billboard in your like right behind
No
your
way.
eyes, and yeah, like you said, the spiral. Like,
Wow. So my experience of some of the mental health side of things is personally, and I haven't taken anything uh, substance wise besides some shrooms once in a while. Those are kind of fun at times, but
those can be great.
yeah. And also like I don't know the science behind it, but I've heard something about like rewiring things different times. But like I know sometimes after I've done that, it's definitely changed my mood and my the way things work for a while. I don't, I'm not a doctor. Uh, that's on that side of things. But like, what the hell's my point on this, Spencer? I'm sorry. Oh, my personal journey is I've had a lot of up and downs over the last couple of years, and there was what was going on? I got to look at what I said to Brett because I texted Brett Gardner the other day because I was watching Shrinking. Have you watched Shrinking?
Yes, that's the Harrison Ford, Jason Segel
Yeah,
show, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And because there was something in there because they're all psychologists or psychiatrists maybe. No, I think they're psychologists. But but there was a thing in there where they talked about cumulative grief, and I was like, I text Brett. I was like, is cumulative grief a thing? And then I Googled it because like I don't need to just make Brett my Google person. And then I was like, shit, it is. And he was like, you bet. The next day. And I was like, holy fuck. Well, if I think about cumulative grief between supposed to getting married and then not, and then my dad dying like 4 months later or 6 months later, and then having a relationship and then that failing, you know, 8 or 9 or 10 months later, whatever. If I accumulate all that grief together, um, I'm a bit fucked up. And it's been a bit of a trip. And for me, there's been a lot of peaks and valleys over the last 2 years ish, I guess. Not to the same extent of yours, it sounds like from what I'm hearing that way, but like there's been a lot of shit going on and I haven't really dealt with it probably properly. I've just kind of like numbed myself by being busy and going on to the next thing. But this winter slowing down and being home the whole winter and I've done a lot to distract myself, but also now I'm like, oh fuck, I'm still a bit sad. So I think I need to reach out to my psychologist guy I've been seeing or work on that a bit more. Um, there's been a lot of natural ways I think I've made myself feel better this year by exercising more and really being active and playing more hockey and doing my best to drink less. And but man, it's fucking hard. So
It's definitely hard, but also listen, the reaching out, it goes two ways. If you wanna hang out sometime, I am, like I said, I'm always here, man. We can hit up Pelican Pier again and get some fish and chips.
it's a good spot.
It's a great spot. Yeah, you introduced me to that spot when I was in university. Now I live just down the road from it, so
Are
it's
we
a
neighbors? We don't
frequenter.
even know.
Yeah, I'm right on 14th Street, right across
Oh.
from the golf course.
Oh, okay. I'm up on by the Winter Club, just up north of you a little bit. I'm right
No
across.
way.
I literally live right behind Pelican Pier around the corner. I walk there.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah,
That's how close I
we
am.
we're quite literally neighbors. In Calgary terms, we are neighbors.
That's funny. That's
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
Yeah, we're doing this over fucking Zoom because it's easier than
And
setting up
and
all the
we're
cameras.
really a 10-minute walk away.
I rode my bike past your house.
Yeah. I literally drive past your house all the time to go to work. That's
That's
so
funny.
funny.
That's funny. Okay. Let's I don't want to just gloss past the subject, but it seems like you're doing well now.
Yeah, no, I'm doing really well now. I really am, and I think that it's hard to like. This is a side note, but my wife definitely was really hurt by the whole thing, right? And I can
The
understand
attempt.
that, the attempt, and it you know I think that it's hard for some folks close to me to believe that I'm doing well now in some ways because it it seemed like I was before, but one thing about people that are really 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 depressed, sometimes you really cannot see it. And But I really am in a good place now. I really I'm doing the things that are making me feel a lot better. Like, therapy, I'm on my meds, I'm working out again, which has been game changing. Um, I'm really happy career wise. Like there's lots of stuff to look forward to. And on top of that, in the past year, I've made an effort to not just focus on career stuff because for the, past I guess 12 years, it really has been a focus. It's been almost every waking hour of the day has been I gotta write jokes or I gotta be auditioning for something or I have to be writing something. It's like it was so much of that for so long, and I think that that also didn't help with all of the mental health stuff. So in the past year, I've been actively making a point to not do things that are career focused, and to really go out of my way to do things that are just fun and just do things for the sake of doing it and do things to hang out with people and doing that it's amazing what our brains are able to do when we're putting the effort into to make those connections with people and to start creating those happy memories because that's that's I think the biggest thing is making sure that you have stuff to look forward to all the time. And then also understanding when you don't have things to look forward to, that's not the end of the world. That's okay too. It's okay to take that breath and just go, I gotta just sit back and relax for a little bit. And yeah, finding that realization, game changing, man.
Well, so you've done some acting in, like we mentioned, Fargo earlier. Billy the Kid was a big production. Devin, the gal that does a ton of our video stuff, she was big, did a lot on Billy the Kid as well. Devin Riches. Talk about the film side of things. There's no guarantees on that side. It's all very sporadic. It seems like can be a bit of a boom and bust, which probably doesn't help the mental health situation at times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help but I will say I was lucky in some regards because I have had like the theater experience as well, right? So when I wasn't like honestly between 2018 and 2023, if I wasn't in a play, I was in a TV show, and if I wasn't in a TV show, I was in a play. So I was
Okay.
constantly working, that was great. And I think like it was kind of amazing to be able to get that much consistent work. But then the writers' strikes happened and such, and that definitely led to a bit of a bust time. And I think that's again like another thing that you mentioned, like that doesn't help with the mental health side of things. But when a year ago, I had been still going on a lot of theater back to back to back, and it just it wears you down, and especially if you're doing heavier stuff, like it's hard to be in a positive mindset when you're doing a play about some sad shit and you got to do it every night and you got to live through that every night for like 2 weeks and the whole rehearsal process and everything. That's tough. So you have to find those things to balance you out. But that being said, it is so funny because like I didn't really have the goal of acting. I originally when I was like 15, when I was, rodeoing in the CCA and everything, I had heard a lot of guys talking about doing stunt work, and I thought that's something that I would love to do. Because to me, it seemed like acting was so out of reach that it just didn't seem possible, but stunt work was very attainable. And then as a late teens guy when I graduated and moved to Calgary and really got into it, uh it made sense because I was like, oh, it's a lot of the same rush that you get from rodeoing and competing, but you're guaranteed a paycheck and there's safety nets and there's like so much less of a chance that you're gonna get fucked up and hurt and not be able to make money. So I completely went into it with this idea of like I just want to be a stunt guy. And then when I got to Calgary, I started just like acting on indie sets just to meet people. And then like a year into doing that, I was looking back at my tax forms and I was like, damn, I made like 4 grand acting and like independent stuff in the last year. And that's not a large sum of money by any stretch of the imagination, but it was it was enough that at 19 years old, I was able to look at that and go, shit, maybe I'm an actor. Maybe I should be focusing on this acting thing because also much safer than stunt work too.
Yeah,
So
true.
I've just slowly gone into a safer direction. It's just there's been a few steps along the way. But yeah, no, so it's been fun, and Calgary's great for our film scene because we have a pretty good sizable major network, and studio productions that come through here. But we also have a really, really, really strong independent scene, and I think that helped set me up so well for my later 20s when I started getting those network shows because I knew how to be on set. I knew how to come prepared. I knew how to act just in general because that's another thing that I think a lot of people uh take not necessarily for granted, but maybe they don't understand like the work that goes into it on an actor's side. And I think it's so funny looking at it now because like after going through theater school and everything, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, there's so much work that goes into acting. Like it only looks good when it looks like it's not hard at all. And that's when somebody's put in the most work possible to get to the simplest way to do it. But yeah, no, I've really loved the film scene in Calgary. I feel like every single one of my answers has started with I'm gonna answer the question, I'm going into something else, and then I answer the question. So I apologize for that.
It sounds like what a comedian would do.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
the ADHD, man, it takes you places.
Oh,
It's like that children's book, The Places You Will Go, except it's just in your mind.
yeah. What's the opposite ism where I just like can get really focused sometimes and just s- like go the opposite of when my eyes get really shifty? What is that one?
I feel like I feel like that's autism, Ted. I think that's a little bit of autism. No, I feel like that is something that I don't know. I think that's better in a lot of ways, especially
Sometimes.
I think in interviews especially because you're able to do the thing where you let people have the flow of the conversation. When I'm interviewing people, they'll be saying an answer, and then I'll take like the next question will be four different questions, and they're like, "Fuck, how do I even answer that?" So,
Is it I when I'm doing these interviews sometimes like I just get so in the zone of what the person is saying and then I'm thinking of what some of the next questions are as they're talking and then I'm so focused I'm like, "Oh fuck, where am I again?" It gets a little weird sometimes.
oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny talking about Billy the Kid. Like that was one of the most fun experiences I had because I mean, it was Fargo was cool because I got to act with like John Hamm and Joe Keery and like Juno Temple and all these people that like I have admired, for years in their crafts. But Billy the Kid was cool because it, I was in the first
You get to
season.
do cowboy shit every
I
day.
got to do cowboy shit, and it was fun because like all these guys were like younger guys, like we were all around the same age. So
Well, no, we're just
being
getting old now.
well, yeah, that's true. That's true. We are getting old now, which doesn't help. But it was cool because it was like, and it was also it felt like a little bit of a rodeo reunion in a way because Jason Glass was one of the guys who was in the Seven Rivers gang with me and a bunch of the other guys. And then, a lot of the stunt guys, like they were all rodeo guys. So I knew quite a few folks from back in the day, like just peripherally even. And it felt like a fun show to be on. And it was a bit of a bummer. Like we didn't get brought back, like the local guys didn't get brought back for the rest of the series. We all got recast with LA guys, which that sucked. That was a bit of a bummer. That being said, I was just glad to have the experience to begin with. And then and to be able to say like, yeah, I got to be a recurring character on a TV show, and it was doing cowboy shit, like literally. But I have to say this too. This goes back to the special. So the special's called Cowboy Number Two. And the reason that I called it that is because literally every single one of my major film and TV credits has been as Cowboy number two. That has been the character name on Billy the Kid, Fargo, this French Canadian comedy film called Viking. Everything I've done has been Cowboy number two, so I just wanted to really round out the IMDb with another Cowboy number two credit.
It's actually the same thing every time.
It's the same thing every time. It's so ridiculous. And so it was actually like it's so much of a thing that my mother-in-law actually brought it up in her wedding speech. She had this really sweet misdirection, but she was like, yeah, Spencer keeps getting cast in TV shows. He'll be like, yeah, I'm in this show. Oh, what's your character? Oh, I'm Cowboy number two. And then she was like, and well, now you have a new title, and that's Son number two. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
the
gotcha.
cheese. The
Fucking
cheese was
gotcha.
thick on that one. That was some nacho cheese, man.
Cool. Spencer, we got to get rolling here because we both have other things we have to do. But you mentioned, well, there's two things. I got to ask for your definition of cowboy shit. But you also mentioned, like, it sounded like there were maybe multiples on the attempt side of things, on the suicide side of things. Like that was a recurring thing in your life too. Like, I don't want to gloss over that either. I don't want to just forget that part before we wrap up today.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, it.
We don't have to talk about it if you're like, fuck, this guy keeps bringing this shit up. I just don't want to talk about this.
No. Like I'm more than willing to talk about it because again, I think it's one of those things where we need to talk about it in order to actually change it. Yeah, like my first attempt was actually when I was in high school. And it was one that like I didn't tell people about for years. It wasn't until I had graduated that I even told some of my best friends in high school. And then when I was in university, was the second attempt, and the third attempt was shortly after I started dating my wife. So like it's four attempts, and I have to say like that's number of attempts. I am actively working on making sure that I don't get into that mind space again. Um, but it's it's definitely something that I think surprises people sometimes too, because I like to be a very positive, outgoing person, right? And I think that throughout all of those periods, there may have been signs, but they weren't very evident, you know? And I think that especially when I was in high school, it was, you know, I was rodeoing all the time, right? Like I was doing that throughout high school, and so I had a lot of time where I was able to be away from home. And this is where this is going to get a little dark for a second, so I apologize, but um I didn't have exactly the best situation at home when I was growing up, and rodeoing was really an escape for me. Like it was a way that I could get away every single weekend between April and October. And throughout the whole summer, I would just go and stay at someone's house that I was traveling with. You know, like I would go and work somewhere. Um, and it wasn't my mom's fault, like at all. But I had a really bad situation with her ex-husband, right? And so um, when those winter months would roll around, shit got really hard. And that was when I made my first attempt, was when I was in high school and I was stuck at home in, middle of nowhere in the winter. So that was really I would say the like catalyst for a lot of it, because it it seemed like the only option, and I know it was not. And I am it's not only was it not, it is not an option, which you realize as you get older. Uh, that being said, I do think that it's kind of funny looking back on it, the ways that I had found to like self cope with finding ways out of that mindset, because um when that first attempt did not work, it was, I'm not gonna lie, more humiliating than anything, because I was the only one who knew about it, and you know what it's like in the rodeo world, and especially like in growing up in a cowboy world, you're like, you have this idea of what is tough, right? And what is the definition of strong? And I feel like it's easy to put silence into that definition. And I don't think that's strong at all. I think that strength comes from saying the shit that you really need to. But especially in that time, because let's face it, 15 years ago, we weren't talking about mental health as much. We weren't talking about concussions as much. Like, I remember getting a concussion as like a 15-year-old kid and then getting on another bucking horse that day. You know, like there's like that's the and
I
that's
did it
only
too.
yeah, and it's
Didn't know
like
any
that
better.
we didn't know any better, and it was this idea of toughness, right? And I don't think that that is, you know, it's such a cliche thing to say, and I hate the term, but when it comes to like the idea of toxic masculinity, I think that that is the textbook definition is like staying silent, because I think that that's a scary. You're battling. There's no reason to battle yourself, but if you are in a battle with yourself, you need to talk to somebody about it. So yeah, I don't know if I even answered that question very well. I apologize.
Well, I think about that, and I still get made fun of for the Motrin comment that ended up on Hell on Hooves that time, because I was traveling with Ty Posabon and Tanner
Yeah,
Byrne that weekend, and I got landed on my head at Airdrie, and then we were driving overnight, and we're going to Williams Lake, and what happened? And I never got on the next day in Williams Lake because I was like, oh fuck, my head hurts. But I just I was like, we were driving overnight, and then somebody asked me to drive, and I was like, oh, I can't drive. I just took 2 Motrins, and then they called me like Motrin forever, and they like I felt like I was a pussy because I didn't get on the next day, and like I had done it before in high school, like 2007. I was at the high school finals in Panoka, got my head hit the first day, and it wasn't like a knockout, but hit my head hard enough that I didn't know what was going on. I was very, like, didn't think I paid my entry fees, and I was fucked right up, right? And then got on the next 2 days, didn't know any better, and probably hit my head again the rest of the weekend. And the rest of the summer, I don't think I didn't do fuck all. Like, I didn't do very good, right?
yeah.
Uh, and then had plenty more concussions over the years, but yeah, it was like, oh fuck, you just hit your head, you're fine. You don't need to not get on. Like that was the thing at the time.
Oh yeah, and like
We didn't know any
even
different.
like we talked about it briefly earlier, but like when I got my head stepped on, at the time I was like in third place in the novice standings in the CCA, and the top three went to the finals, right? So I got my head stepped on, and then 2 weeks later I snuck out to a rodeo, hitchhiked to get there because I was still 15, wasn't old enough to drive. And then I ended up getting in an even worse wreck and
Uh-oh.
then had an even worse concussion, because at the time,
You're not healed
nobody
up yet.
said, oh, look, you should probably take probably honestly 3 months off because you just had extreme trauma to your head.
Do you think
Uh,
do you think that's what caused the issues on your like on the suicide attempts or on the mental health? Like, do you think it was concussion based?
I don't think that it's helped. I wouldn't say that it's the sole reason though. Like
Okay.
I think that there's other reasons that I would point to as like maybe it's trauma that's been there for a while, and the grief that comes with that and everything else. I would say that the concussions have not helped, especially at such a young age, as again we're finding out the older that we get and the more information that comes out about head injuries and mental health and everything. It's like there are things that I can see that definitely did not help with my situation. That's this is where I'm gonna say a very hot take, Ted. I strongly believe I don't give a damn who you are, and I don't care what the argument is. I think that helmets in bull riding specifically should definitely be a thing. And I think that the argument of I ride better when I don't have a helmet on because my head's not weighed down as much is stupid. And if your helmet is weighing your head down that much, don't be a goddamn bull rider because you're not strong enough to even hold your head up right. Come on, piss off. Get out of here. Because I know that the other argument is, yeah, but you're going to try and avoid getting your head hit and whatever. But if you have a helmet on, you're still going to try to avoid having your head hit. I don't know about you, but like when I was riding bulls, I didn't want to knock my skull into the back of the bull's head. I wanted to, keep my chest out, keep my chin down, keep my fucking head away,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my controversial opinion. I know somebody's gonna light me up in the comments on that one. I just strongly believe that like we have the knowledge that there is preventative things that can help with head injuries, and I think that the argument of it's not cowboy is silly because if you really want to talk about what is and isn't cowboy, you need to be not living in your house, sleeping in a tent, and shitting in a bucket because that's real cowboy shit. If you really want to get into it,
up against a tree. There's no
yeah.
buckets up there. The on the helmet side of things, I don't think I ever got on a bull without a helmet. I think there was times when I thought I was invincible having the helmet on, and I think that hurt me because I was a little more free rolling on it. And even like JB Mooney rode in a helmet for probably 7 to 10 years of his career. He ditched it eventually, and that kind of became his persona. But he rode in a helmet for many of the early years of his career. But I've never asked the question on why he ditched it specifically, or, like I think the same thing happened with Kai Hamilton, and then he ended up going without it. The face issues or injuries, the tough Hedeman Bodacious, that was gonna save his face if he would have had a helmet, but he would have never worn a helmet because he was tough Hedeman. I think he wore the cage for a while, the face cage thing, which is wild that those things were even a thing. That's not even close to a helmet. The Ednei Kaminhas, whatever the fuck that thing was. Uh, but then also getting stepped on, right? Like Brent Thurman at the NFR, he passed away from I think his head got stepped on, right? Where like I had one I was thinking about this morning. I don't know why, but probably because I shit my pants when it happened because I got my foot hung in the flank, and then I came out because the bull like stepped in my head, and I got thinking about that one today. Uh, and like I probably would have died if I didn't have the helmet that day, just based on the pressure on my head, and that helmet probably deflected the hoof enough. Still hurt that way, but anyways, sidebar. Yeah, I think that it's probably saved. The helmets have definitely saved some lives, but I don't think they're saving concussions as much because of the brain trauma. That part's not being helped by concussions, in my opinion. The brain
No.
getting mashed around inside your skull is going to happen regardless.
And I definitely I'll agree with you there. I'll concede that side of my argument. I definitely agree with you on that. I think that mouth guards do help with concussions. There has been a lot of research about that. Like because just the way that it sits in your mouth, it forces your tongue a certain way. It keeps your jaw open a certain amount that like you're not clanking your mouth if so that does help a little bit. But again, the end of the day, you get your head stepped on, you're getting a concussion. It doesn't matter if you have a helmet or not.
You smack your head around. But man, okay, what the fuck is the thing with Gavin Adcock? We gotta touch on that before we wrap up here. I gotta run now too here pretty soon. But what the hell's going on with this guy?
Oh Jesus. Okay, so
Did this start with him trying to fight Zach Bryan?
It actually started before that, and I was so happy when that happened because it was just another reason to make fun of this guy.
I don't mind some of his music actually, though. I've kind of started listening to it. I was like, I've heard him kind of come up, and I'm like, oh, it's actually some decent songs, but just some of the other side of it looks so fucking weird. Like I don't know what he was trying to do with fighting Brian, but like what, I don't know. Anyways,
well,
proceed.
okay, I'll just say this. Like I started following him when he was at like 10,000 followers, something like that on Instagram. Like he popped up, and him and I actually followed each other. And so I thought at the time I was like, oh, it's some emerging artist. Like, yeah, I'll follow him. Like I've worked in radio. I had a music podcast for a long time. Like I like to see what's happening with music. So anyways, I'm following this guy, and it's like everything's fine, but then he just started like mouthing off on everybody in the music industry. It was like Beyonce's not country, and I'm like, okay, you're talking about Morgan Wallen being country though, and I don't know if you can make the argument that Beyonce's music isn't country if trap beats with a banjo is country, you know? So and okay, before I get torn up in the comments, I also don't think that Beyonce's album is country. I'm just saying you you can't say that that's that different from a lot of pop country that is out right now.
No, it's not
Um,
different, hardly different at all.
exactly. And
And
so
I think Post Malone did country way better than Beyonce.
I would 100% agree.
It's more authentic. He used authentic country music artists and merged with them, where Beyonce tried to dabble in country. And I think she did okay, but it wasn't authentic like the way Posty did it.
It wasn't yeah, like you said, it wasn't grounded. It didn't have that real feel to it. But yeah, so he's dunking on people, and then he like Charlie Crockett made a post where he basically said what I just said, where it's like if you're gonna get mad about Beyonce not being country, you have to get mad at the whole industry for not being country. And then Adcock took that as a personal affront, started shitting on him. I dunked on him in the comments just once. I just said, "This is a terrible take." He deleted the comment, and that made me mad because I'm like, you can't talk shit on the internet and then be deleting comments. If you're gonna talk shit, you have to own what you've said, and you have to let people also say that your opinion is bad, right? So he deleted the comment. I was like, fuck this. I made a whole video just making fun of him. It went stupid viral, like to the point where at the start, the first like I would say first 20 comments were all basically telling me to go kill myself, and I was like, guys, I've tried, it doesn't work. But like the next like it finally got onto like the right side of the internet, and people were like, yeah, I fucking hate this guy running his mouth off, this is fucking hilarious. So it started with that. Then I found out through the grapevine that apparently it really got under his skin. The video really got under his skin, and his team was telling him not to respond because, like I said, it went viral. And then so I changed his whole Wikipedia to have a whole section about me and about how I'm his king ruler and whatever else. And then he responded, which was hilarious because then it was like, all right, now it's go time. But yeah, then he kept like running his mouth off about everybody, and then was saying like, oh, if Zach Bryan ever steps to me, I could put him in his place, and then like runs away as soon as Zach Bryan does step to him. So I'm like, well, I have to make fun of him for this. Like that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You just like, how did you not make the NFL with a 40 like that to the security guards, dude? Like, god dang. So yeah, so it's been ongoing. He finally did block me today, which I think is very funny. I have something that's coming out soon that I told you about off air that I think is going to be a reason for him to unblock me, at least just so that he can see it, which I think is oh so chef's kiss hilarious. But yeah, it's been silly more than anything. Cause like, I'll be honest, if I were to meet this guy, do I think that him and I would get into fisticuffs? Fuck no. Like, there's nothing that serious about this whole thing. He's dunking on artists. I think he has a bad take. I'm making fun of him for it. Uh, I also feel like him and I probably would have more in common than we do in difference, you know? Uh, but I am gonna just keep making fun of him because it's funny, and it's exactly what he's doing with all of these artists, where he's getting a lot of recognition for saying dumb statements. Uh, I'm getting a lot of recognition for making fun of him for saying these dumb statements, so it's kind of a win-win.
Um, I wish you the best in your internet troll endeavors. Um, it's not anything that I'm very good at and don't intend to be. But I am probably a bit of a commenter and a voice on some things. But anyway, Spencer, I gotta go. But I want to ask you before we go what your definition of cowboy shit is.
Man, I've been thinking about this for years because I've been a fan of the podcast for years. My definition.
Hold on, prove it though. What's your favorite show?
Ooh. I don't
Can't
know
say you're a fan of the show and not tell me which one you liked.
I would say when you guys interviewed Laird the Cable Guy, that was a big one.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
That was a pretty cool one. I
As
liked
a comedian,
that.
that's true.
As a comedian and as a rodeo fan, that was kind of a perfect episode because I got to hear all about his start in comedy. I also got to hear about how he used to sponsor like Wade Sundell and all those guys. I was like, that's
Tater
so
Porter
sick. And Tater Porter, yeah. But my definition of cowboy shit, I would say it's perseverance and it's tenacity. I think that no matter the situation that you're in life, if you are willing to persevere and you're willing to push through it, and this could be on a personal thing, on a career thing, on a on a mental thing, on an external thing. If you're persevering and you have the tenacity to go after something, I think that that's the definition of cowboy shit.
Man, I have a line that's fucking bad, but it just came to my mind.
I'm so ready.
Oh, dude. What is the Luke Combs back in the saddle when he's talking about the cowboy digging his way out of the grave? Does that hit different for you right now?
Yeah, 100% it does. Absolutely it does.
I'm sorry, that just came to mind. I was like, this is fucked up. This is dark ass humor. You might be able to use that as your like fucking opening song or something.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
It's fucked up.
You know what? Fucked up is sometimes the funniest shit. I think that was great.
God. Oh god. I don't mean to make fun of it, but like it seems like you're doing good.
No, I am, and I listen. Humor is more than welcome. I think that no, but yeah, I think that would be my definition of cowboy shit. Perseverance, tenacity, and a good fucking joke once in a while. Because I don't think I've ever met a cowboy who doesn't laugh at some shit that's a little too fucked up.
And if they don't, then they're probably not. Then, as Dale Brisby would say, then you ain't no cowboy.
You ain't no cowboy, old son.
Oh boy. Okay, Spencer Streichert. Check him out on all the socials. Cowboy #2 is on YouTube. Check out his show on CKUA as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Ted. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the visit.